You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. On3 Sports took a stab 100 days out from the start of the college football season, which that in and of itself is exciting. On this day, Thursday, May the 18th, we're 100 days out from the college football season, which is awesome. I'm pumped about it. I know many of you are as well. Before you know it, we'll be in Nashville for SEC Media Days, and then we'll be in the fall camp, and then it'll be here before you know it. But On3 took a stab at their list of the top 100 players for the college football season here in 2023, with it being now 100 days out from the college football season. And there was some LSU flavor in this list, which we'll get to, and then some snubs as well. At the top of the list, as you would expect, is the defending, reigning Heisman Trophy winner, the quarterback from USC, Caleb Williams, number one on the list. And actually, it's quite a few quarterbacks, or back-to-back quarterbacks to start. Caleb Williams, Drake May, 1 and 2. Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State, 3. Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia, 4. The highest-rated defensive player on the list is Jared Verse, the edge from Florida State, 5. One spot later is where you find the first LSU Tiger, Harold Perkins. After an explosive freshman season, Harold Perkins, number 6 on the list of the top 100 players in college football for the coming season. Brian Kelly, during spring, talking about the rising sophomore.
I think you're going to see him as active as he's been, and maybe just in a different fashion. If you just line him off the edge, everybody's going to game plan for him. I think we put him in a better position at the linebacker position, and then we can move him around on third down. So I think he's going to be as active as any time that we've had Harold. He just has other responsibilities now that he hadn't had before.
You know, if there's one question with Perkins, it's going to be how does he react to the new role? The fact that he is now going to be in that role where he's going to be the Mike linebacker and he's moving inside, how does he react to that as opposed to just being the guy with a singular responsibility, which is, hey, go to the edge, be super athletic, and get upfield? His numbers are incredible. And the fact that after a freshman season where he played a specialized role, I mean, he had double-digit tackles for loss, but the fact that after that season, he's the 6th highest-rated player in the entire country, according to On3, that's a major, what an impact he made as a freshman. You got to go down the list a good bit before you get to the next couple of LSU Tigers, both in the 50s. Number 53 is wide receiver Malik Neighbors, and number 57 is offensive tackle Will Campbell. Those are all of the Tigers on the list in the top 100. So there are a couple of noticeable omissions and snubs, which we'll talk about here in a second. Neighbors at 53, they have as the 6th best receiver in the country, which I think is perfectly fine. We looked at a list earlier this week that had, from ESPN, that had Malik Neighbors 7th in the country, and I really don't care. Genuinely, it's something so subjective, and you can put them where you want, and they're all very talented. I think maybe one thing that hurts Malik Neighbors is the fact that Kayshon Boutte had so much attention given him a year ago, and that even though Malik Neighbors had a 1,000-yard receiving season, I think a lot of LSU fans don't even realize Malik Neighbors had a 1,000-yard receiving season. But Week 1, he'll have an awesome opportunity against Florida State to splash on a major stage, and people will know his name, and he's going to make a lot of money next year. Provided he stays healthy, has a productive season. Malik is great. We all know it. The country will see it. It was a bit surprising seeing Will Campbell on this list at 57, considering he's a rising sophomore. But again, you saw Harold Perkins at 6. And if you step in as the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, and as a true freshman, you're starting from jump, that's incredible. So this basically puts him as the 7th best offensive tackle in all of college football, and I'm really okay with that. I'm surprised to see him that high, but when you talk about a marquee program like LSU, a 5-star player that steps in day one and lives up to the hype, he's going to be a guy who people know his name and is going to fit that bill, and he has certainly earned a lot of those accolades. What you'll notice is there's no Jaden Daniels, and that really surprises me. I mean, Jaden Daniels has the 4th best odds to win the Heisman Trophy. Joe Milton is on this list at 81. Devin Leary's on the list at 96. Sam Hartman, who just transferred to Notre Dame, he's at 52. J.J. McCarthy from Michigan's at 70. Quinn Ewers, who was hurt, missed a bunch of last year, is 75. I mean, Jaden Daniels is entering year 5. He just led LSU last year with 2,900 passing yards, ran for nearly 900 yards, beat Bama, won the West. Like, you're going to tell me that guy, who's got the 4th best Heisman odds in the country, shouldn't be on the top 100 list? I mean, again, it's subjective. I don't want to overreact to it, but if that's the way people feel about Jaden Daniels now, he may have a steeper hill to climb in terms of national awards and accolades if they don't even have him in the top 100 yet. A guy like Joe Milton is on the list at 81. You kind of almost wonder, like, did the people from On3 when they were making this list, like, did they just forget Jaden Daniels? It's a little stunning that that he's not on this list, considering the skins on the wall, how veteran he is. I mean, Joe Milton couldn't keep his job at Michigan, transfers to Tennessee, loses his job to Hendon Hooker. Hooker gets hurt, then we see Milton step up and play the last game of the regular season. The bowl game played well, but there's no justification for having Joe Milton on the list, for having J.J. McCarthy or Quinn Ewers on the list, and not having Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying take them off. It's fine, you would have them on, great, but if that's your standard, not having Jaden Daniels on the list is a bit ridiculous. Mason Smith's not on the list, but I understand that as well. He just hasn't played in 2 years. He's played very minimally in 2 years, so I understand it. I would tell you Mekhi Wingo is the other guy that should be on the list. Mekhi Wingo was a third-team All-American last year. And if you're a third-team All-American, just if you're doing the math, if you have 22 members of each All-America team, that means he was one of the top 66 players. And if you want to extend it to specialists, you could look at maybe the top 75 players. The dude was a third-team All-American last year. He should be on this list. It's just a thing where people don't know his name. So some of this becomes a popularity contest. Again, I'm not going to overreact to it. But if you're looking at guys that are omitted now who might be on a list like this later in the season, clearly Jaden Daniels would be one. Mason Smith, provided he stays healthy. Mekhi Wingo just does what he did last year. He should be on it anyway. And then I would also throw in a guy like Emory Jones. I'm not telling you both LSU's tackles would be worthy of being on there or would be on there, but both should be worthy by the end of the season if they play and play as well as they have and could and should throughout the course of the season. So, we're inching closer. It was a fun thing to do, to look at where a lot of people are ranked on the list. LSU's got 3 in the top 100, but more notably than the guys on it were the omissions, to me anyway. Notably, Jaden Daniels, 4th best Heisman odds. You don't have them in the top 100 players in the country. That's a little hard to believe. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.